On this video, I am going to be doing a harmony of the Gospels focusing upon the section, John chapter 1, verses 19 to 28. In it, I'll be looking at John's words to the committee of the Sanhedrin that was sent to him and what testimony he gave them. I'll be reading it in Greek, followed then by a translation in English. So we begin, and I'm beginning at verse 19. Kai alte estin, he marturia tu Ioannu, hate apestelan prasautan hoi Judaioi ex Ierasalumon he ores kai livitas hena erotesosin autan su tis a. And this is the testimony of John. When the Jews out of Jerusalem, the high priest, I should say, out of Jerusalem sent to him, or when the Jews out of Jerusalem sent to him high priests and Levites, that they might ask him, "Who are you?" And he now is going to reply, Kai hama lagesin kai uk ernesata kai hama lagesin hatiago uk emi ha Christos. And he confessed, and he did not deny that I am not the Christ. 5 words. Ego uk emi ha Christos. John denies that he is the Messiah. Notice he says, I am not the Christ. I am not the Messiah. So as we read on in verse 21 then, Kai erotesen autan teun. What then? Su Elias a? Are you Elias? Are you Elijah? Kai lege uk emi. Notice now his answer is I am not. 2 words in the Greek, uk emi. His answers are getting shorter and shorter. Are you Elijah, who was to announce the Lord in according to Malachi? And he answers, uk emi, I am not. Then they ask him, Ude ha prophetes? Are you Elijah or the prophet? The prophet is in Deuteronomy, and he was to come and announce, or actually he was thought of as the Messiah, the prophet. Are you the prophet? Apokryphe autois ha Ioannes legon. And John answered them, saying, Ego baptizo in hudati, I am baptizing in water. Messas kumon, heste ken han humes uk oidatet. I'm baptizing in water, but in your midst stands he whom you do not know, the one that you do not know. Ha apisomu erkamenas, the one coming behind me, hu uk emi ego, axios hina, I am not worthy, hina, to untie, luso autu tan himata tu hupadematas. I am not even worthy to untie his sandals. In other words, he is so much greater than I am that I'm not even worthy to untie his sandals, John is saying. So in 29, actually, he's going to continue and notice they're going to ask him, then why are you baptizing? Let me just pick that up. And that is in, let me go back. I had skipped in my Greek text here a page. Let us know. And his answer was, no, relative to the prophet. I'm back to verse 21. Epan un auto tisse. They then said to him, who are you? Hina apokrisin domen tois pemsasin hemas. Ti leges peri se autu. In order that we might give answer to those who sent us. What are you saying concerning yourself? Now notice his answer in verse 23. Ephe, egophone baontas ente eremo, euthunate ten hadan kuriu. He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness. Make straight the way of the Lord. Kathos apen, Esaias ha prophetas, just as Isaiah the prophet said. And he's referring to Isaiah 40, verse 3. So he simply says, I am simply a voice crying in the desert, prepare the way of the Lord. Now notice in verse 25, they ask him a question. They said, Epan auto, tiun baptizes, esu uk eha Christos, ude Elias, udeha prophetes. Then why are you baptizing, if you are not the Christ, nor Elijah, nor the prophet? Why are you doing it? Apekrithe autois ha Ioannes legum. And John answered them, saying, Ego baptizo in hudati missas humon, heste ken han humes uk oidate. I am baptizing in water. In the midst of you stands he whom you do not know. Ha apisomu erkamenas, the one who comes after me, behind me, hu uke me ego axios hena, I am not worthy, in order that I might untie his sandal. Luso autu tan hemata tu hupadematas. I'm not even worthy to untie his sandal. I'm not even worthy to take the role of a servant. And all of this, notice in verse 28, it says, Tauta en Bethania agenata perantu Judanu hapu ein ha Ioannes baptizo. And these things happen in Bethany across or beyond the Jordan, where John was baptizing. I'm going to stop there. There's a little bit in the middle. I had jumped ahead, but then I went back. This is the testimony of John the Baptist. When they came to ask, "Who are you?" And I thought it was interesting that his answers got shorter and shorter. And he first of all said, "I am not the Christ," 5 words. And then 2 words. Then, "Are you Elijah?" "Ukemi," "I am not." "Are you the prophet of Deuteronomy?" 1 word, "U." His answers got shorter and shorter. "Then what are you?" He said, "I'm just the voice of one crying in the wilderness, 'Prepare the way of the Lord,' just as Isaiah the prophet had said." Isaiah was speaking at one level at the return of Israel out of Babylon. And then at this level, now it's applied, I think, in a double way to the preaching of John the Baptist. So what he was speaking of, Isaiah initially was preparing the way for the exiles to come back from Babylon in a, can I say, a deliverance, like a bringing them back. But now we're talking about a spiritual deliverance that Jesus would bring. And also we're talking about a baptism that he is going to go on to talk about baptizing in the Spirit. But I'm not even worthy to loose his sandals. I'm not even worthy to take the role of a servant. I have come, he was before me. In other words, even though I came after, he was actually before me. Even though I'm here, let me put it this way, I'm announcing the Messiah. He, Jesus, is eternal, John's implying, because he was before me.